and welcome to Conversations for the Soul, one good sip at a time with Dr. Angie and Yashica B, the eclectic mindset. Oh boy, eclectic mindset. All of a sudden.
It's a day Monday.
This is the show where real women have real talk about real issues. Tonight's issue is about hair for the Black woman. Hair for the Black woman. So let's talk about that later on. But I want to take this moment out to invite you to like, share, and subscribe and participate. We really like it when you participate in our show because it is the difference that goes between us just having a conversation with each other to having a conversation that is more fulfilling and more lively than when we're just talking with each other. So we thank you right now for joining us. We encourage you to log on and participate in our chat and anything that you can do to have your feedback heard. We're looking forward to it. So thank you so much for joining us. And Yashica B, your turn to say hello to the folks.
Hello, good people. Hello, everyone out there. I just finished sharing it to my page. Make sure I turn my volume down. Oh, tonight I'm interested to hear all that you have to say about the hair. Considering both of us one of us is natural and the other one's natural and a half. That would be the half will be over here. It's natural underneath this, so
okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, we kind of natural. We got the natural look going on.
And you know what? I love it. I'm thinking about dreading it up. I really am.
Okay.
I'm thinking about saying.
Now, have you had dreads before?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Mm-mm. But yeah, I like them.
But I know some people who really do some fantastic things with dreads.
Yep.
And they really look cute, and they make, when you think of dreads, sometimes you think not professional looking or what have you, but then you realize that you're just part of the rest of the crew when you say not professional looking. Who said that wasn't professional looking? So we get caught up into their stuff, and that's not necessarily a good thing, because hair says a lot about people, but are we writing the narrative about what other people's hair says, or is that something that society is saying? Is that something that people who don't look like us say? I don't know. What is the deal with that? So that's what we want to kind of delve into today, dive into that conversation about hair. And dreads is certainly one of the natural looks that sometimes people take issue with. And I just want to talk about that for a little bit. What do you think about doing the dreads?
Well, for me, because I like the look. Like, I like this look on me. And so I go get my hair done when I do it like this, I don't like stuff to stay in my head over 30 days. So I end up paying a good little penny to get it done every 30 days, or to get it done and then take it out within 30 days. But if I was doing it myself, as far as dreading it up, I would save that money. Now, as far as the hair goes, I think that we have allowed others to determine what our hair is supposed to look like. Because for the most part, how can you say what's not professional? Why are we having a discussion about our hair? On our hair, now we have a natural hair as Black women, but we had to fight to get the right for natural hair. That doesn't make sense. But you didn't have to fight for the right to wear your hair like you did. That doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't pass a common sense test. But however, it's been the test for the longest. How we've done things in not just America but everywhere, that we're feeling like we have to look a certain type of way to fit in a certain type of narrative, and that narrative wasn't created by us.
Exactly. And I think we unfortunately we contribute to that false narrative by saying it just doesn't look professional. Like, I'm not so sure that our idea of professional really should lie in our hair.
Because I said, like, not in the style. Like, for instance, if you just woke up like you just rolled out of bed. Now, I get that. And that could be for any hair type. If you didn't put a little bit of manicure to it, comb it, brush it, do something. So I get that. But just because you decide to wear your hair natural or in a fro, I don't understand why that is not seen to be professional. Because one thing about, I think with a black woman, when she has her hair in an afro, when she is picked out, to me that just shows strength. And I believe that may be what others might fear. Not that you're not professional, but you just coming off too strong.
Ooh.
You know, everybody that I remember from back in the day when I used to see them with the puffs, and I always saw strength, and just like, wow, they're just powerful, they're strong. So maybe that's some of the reason why we decided to mess with our hair. And then from that point, then we bring in the relaxers. We're trying to straighten it. We don't want curly hair, and it's just extra. And then the industry, I know you wanted to touch on that. The industry is making billions, but it's off of our hair. But it ain't even us making the billions off of our hair. And yet
that right there is a big piece of what I want to discuss. But
and it seems like no matter what we tell our people, they just hard head and let me sip on that.
Look, I'm gonna have to join you on a sip on that.
Because the more you tell them, the dumber they get. And I'm just gonna be straight up with you. The more you tell them, the dumber they get. It's my freedom. Okay, all right, whatever. 2 thumbs up for you.
How about that? Yeah, so I find it to be interesting. So we were traveling this weekend, this week, I'm sorry. And we got a chance to see something that really doesn't have anything to do with this conversation, but it does have something to do with it. Mm-hmm. We looked at the number of suntan businesses that were in this particular state that we were in, the city that we were in. We just saw a bunch of suntan franchises, and it makes you wonder. Suntanning is making the skin darker, right? But then we have people who are dark, who then, a couple of things there, they're trying to lighten themselves up. So that's one thing. And then the other piece of it is the people who are trying to darken their skin. I'm confused because...
When you said that, I want to cut you off, but when you said that right there, it reminded me of that saying, they want our color, but not our struggle.
How about that? I love it. Say it again.
They want our color, but not our struggle. So,
and they also want our culture.
Mm-hmm.
Can I tell you the times when I ride down the street and I listen to Black artists being blasted out of car windows and so forth, and when you look at the person, you're almost confused. You're saying to yourself, no, wait a minute. But that same person will get up a couple streets and turn around and call you the N-word. Wait, what? You know, it's really confusing. But the thing that I love is that it's getting more and more difficult to separate the two.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you look at these Black men who have been murdered through police brutality, and then their mothers come on and you look at them and you're like, hey, that's a white woman. You're a little confused, right? But I love it because our society, our race, we're just becoming able to really just be us. And whatever us looks like. Does us look like white? Does us look like Black? Does us look like Spanish? Does us look like Mexican? Does us look like Chinese? I mean, what does us really look like? And that's what I love, is because before it's all said and done, there won't be those distinguishing characteristics where you can just look at somebody and tell, hey, that person is Cuban. Hey, that person is Haitian. Hey, and I think that's a great thing, because I think we spend too much time focusing on what people's races are when we should really be focusing on the human race. Can we focus on that for a change instead of what someone's culture is, what their race is. Like let's focus on that and celebrate every culture.
Right.
Because every culture brings something to the table. And I absolutely think we have missed opportunities because we're so busy trying to turn our nose up at people and their culture and their ethnicity. And I just think we miss so much. And I just think about all of the things that have been ruined by the fact that we're trying to snub out one ethnicity over the other.
Right.
And I know we kind of got off the beaten path, but hair is just one distinguishing factor that we can discuss that really draws attention to the whole thing as, people of color versus people of non-color in terms of how their hair looks. But it also shows us that we got people with straight hair going to the salon to get curly hair, people with curly hair going to the salon to get straight hair, people with red hair going to the salon to get black hair, and people with black hair going to the salon to get blonde hair and blue. Like, are we just a people who just really are not satisfied with who we are? Like, is that what the issue is? I mean, there's so many pieces to this thing, because you could take off on any direction with this whole conversation and end up 2,000 miles apart from each other, because there's so many pieces. It's like almost like a ball of yarn. Like all of it all makes the ball of yarn, but when you start to unravel it, you find that there's knots in it and tangles in it, and it's just not a smooth process. And what made me say that is I'm working on I'm crocheting a blanket right now. Look, and as I'm crocheting, I'm sitting there, I'm getting mad because I'm pulling the yarn out of the skein and it's all tangled up, and I'm like, come on, man, really, this is supposed to be a smooth process. And it makes you think about the whole racial piece, because that's supposed to be a smooth process. You're supposed to be able to look at people and say, oh, blonde hair, blue eyes. Oh, I know what that is. Black people, kinky hair. I know what that is. No, we can't. We can no longer do that. And I personally think it's a beautiful thing. Not that I'm trying to remove myself from my culture, my ethnicity, my race. I'm not trying to do that, because I think we're beautiful just as we are. But I think everybody is beautiful just as they are. Right. I think we all can simply just try to find happiness with who we are and try to find contentment with who we are. Do we want to enhance our look? Absolutely. I'm the first one to say I'm not getting on camera without my makeup. But when I'm walking around all day, every day, I don't have on makeup. But I just feel, a little different about it on camera, but it's enhancing my look. Sometimes you see people and they put makeup on and you're looking at them like, what happened to wait, what happened to the person that I was just talking to? It reminds me of that old joke, from back in the day where this couple got married, and then the woman took off her false lashes and took off her fake nails and her wig and and all this stuff. And the guy woke up, he's like, oh, who is this? And so that just reminded me of that joke. But
a totally different person.
The bottom line is, it's certainly fine and okay to really enhance your own beauty. I don't particularly like it when you're changing, like when you're doing dramatic surgical procedures and all that stuff. Me personally, to each his own, and I don't, judge people for that. But for me, I just think that we should be pretty content with who God made us to be. You know what I mean? Just work with what you got. But these permanent alterations just seem to be a bit much to me. And I know I'm way off the beaten path of the hair thing, but it all kind of, like I said, it all kind of tangles itself up there.
It does. Because when you were saying about the yarn and the hair, because one thing I wanted to ask, well, where did the eyelashes come from?
Woo, and let me tell you something. Nowadays, you see the eyelashes before you see the person. The
whole hair, it's a wig, and the wig is in your eyes. I'm like, what the world?
Yeah, and it's like, it's too much for me. Me personally, it's too much. It's okay to have, nice lashes. That's great. It's okay to mascara your lashes. That's great. But
Not
nowadays,
the
they're,
whole
they're
bloom on
turning
your
into
eye.
Betty Boop lashes. And it's like, what exactly are you trying to say with all that? And it can't be safe. I know you can't be driving with these lashes flapping around. Like, it just doesn't seem
How
doesn't
do
seem
you,
safe
how do
to
you
me,
flap
some of
around?
them, because they're so outrageous. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Wait a minute,
Maybe it's
how do
just
they be flapping
me.
around again?
What
And
you say?
how do they be flying around?
They're driving around with stuff in their face. I'll be swinging, thinking there was a bug in front of me or something. I'm just saying. This seems really different. I see we have people on with us, but they're not saying anything. How about if you all just take a moment out to drop us a comment or let us know where you were tuning in from, or just say hello. We would love to hear from you. This show is about getting feedback and input, insight from our viewers, and we look forward to hearing what you have to say on this issue, because it's just the two of us. We're yin and yang, but we don't have all the answers, and we certainly don't have all the conversation. We have some conversation, but we get off on these tangents. So how about if you all just bring us back in?
Monchelle says the glue is strong. Lord, the lashes are staying. They ain't
Wait,
going away.
I can't see that. What did she
I'm looking
say?
at it because I shared it to my page, so I can see it. I can see it from
Oh,
my
okay.
page. Yeah, because in our comments on the actual conversations, I don't see it. But that's funny because, and also she was saying that it's so confusing earlier when you were saying about the light, the dark, and whatever we're doing with one person want to be lighter, one person be darker, and it's just confusing.
Yeah, it is. And I just think we spend too much time and energy
Mm-hmm.
on appearances. I'd
Mm-hmm.
much rather if we spent that time and energy on our approach to life, our approach to one another. Can we work with one another and be kind and respectful, generous? Those things. We could practice the fruit of the spirit with one another. I just think that would be so much better than worrying about how we look. How we look is how we look. Now, don't get me wrong. I want to look my best. I think we all should want to look our best. But I don't know if that should be the primary focus. That's what I worry about.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well, I agree because even now, I don't have on any makeup. I see my forehead shining, but I don't have any makeup on. I put some lip gloss on, and that's about it. That's normally me. And sometimes you can overdo it. We talk about that too. You can put makeup on and just I don't have any makeup on. Overdo
Yeah.
it. Huh? And so
Yeah, you're correct. And like I said, when there are occasions where I really want to look my best, I do put on makeup, mainly because my bags are carrying bags. So that's why I feel like feel the need to put some makeup on those things. But I don't necessarily wear makeup. No, not necessarily. I don't wear makeup every day. But when I'm trying to look presentable for situations where I'm representing conversations for the soul or empowerment matters or, things like that, I do try to look a little bit better.
I try to just get sleep. You see right here?
Yeah.
That's just me need to drink some water and go to sleep.
Yeah. So I see Monchelle Sharp is online with us, and she said, is that the young lady that you were speaking of?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very good. All right, excellent. And she said, y'all look good. Monchelle, I'm sure you look good too. I can tell because it takes one to know one. That's what I always say.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and let's say, now tell me, you started this.
Right. I was just getting ready to say
so what did you do that made you think about hair and all this? What did you do over the week?
So my husband and I, we visited Indianapolis, and we got a chance to go to a museum that had a particular what do you call it? I don't want to call it a demo, but they had uh, a section designated to Madam C.J. Walker.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell you I was impressed, I was impressed. We always knew that she was the first female self-made millionaire. Like
Mm-hmm.
we knew that history has told us that. But what they didn't tell us, now we could imagine the struggle that she went through. But what I was thoroughly impressed with was the fact that she was such a philanthropist. I can never say that word. Anyway, say it again.
Philanthropist.
There you go. I struggle with that word. And I'm a wordsmith, but that one always messes me up.
Okay.
But so she was a very spiritual woman, a very service-oriented woman,
Mm-hmm.
and she practiced philanthropy. Oh my God. There you go. That was. Anyway, I'm gonna keep trying until I get it. And sometimes it rolls right off my tongue perfectly the first time. But when I think too hard about it,
now I got one word I can get you with.
Yeah, when I think too hard about it, that's when I mess up. But anyway, he was a philanthropist, and as part of the display that they had letters that she had written. And what I tell you, I could not believe. Do you have any idea how much formal education she had?
Probably third grade, if that.
Third grade would really be great.
Mm-hmm.
Guess how much formal education she had? She had a total of 3 months. MONTH. 3 months, not years. 3 months of formal education.
Wow.
And she was able to become the first self-made female millionaire.
Wow.
And her mansion that she owned, her estate, was right next door to Rockefeller. And she went from this little teeny tiny, broke down, raggedy log cabin shack to an estate. And I was absolutely amazed by that. But more importantly than that, while she made millions, it was not about her for the millions. She wasn't concerned about the millions as much as she was concerned about helping her people. And this was evidenced in her writings. It was evidenced in her letters, her advocacy that she did for Black people, for the anti-lynching movement that she was instrumental in, which, by the way, we still don't have the anti-lynching laws off the books. But anyway, that was back in the early 1900s. Here we are in the 2000s, and we still don't have that off the books yet. But anyway, that's a discussion for another time. But she went from just herself in her kitchen and her husband and her daughter to having well over 20,000 employees. And before it was all said and done, it was even more than that. But when she closed her eyes, she was the boss of 20,000 people. And to me, I'm just like 20,000 people in early 1900, 1909, 1910, all those early numbers. It's just absolutely amazing. And I wanted to highlight that as a part of this conversation because she made her millions on hair, on Black hair, on helping people to grow their own natural hair, helping people to straighten their hair. She had chemicals that she produced, products that she produced, Madam C.J. Walker. So we know that the hair industry back in the 1900s was millionaire making. So what do you think it is now?
Oh, it's a multi-billion industry now.
And who's making that money?
It's not Madam C.J. Walker's family.
How about that?
Or people that look like her.
Exactly.
Yep.
That is so clear. I see Shalonya's. I never know if I say that right either. Do I say that right?
That's right, Shalanya. Yep.
Anyway, she said good evening. And I wanted us to realize that the formula that Madam C.J. Walker developed is a formula that, and when I say formula, I'm not talking about the products. I'm talking about the business formula that she formulated.
Mm-hmm.
That business formula right now is building other
cultures,
communities other than people of color. They're building communities by the billions. And we are the ones who are the consumers of these businesses. We go to the hair store like nobody's business and drop $100, $200 on hair products. I'm confused. Why don't we have people, and they come set up these shops in urban communities. They come set up their shops in Black communities, but they're not Black. That's a problem for me. That's a problem for all of us. We've got to do something different. Your favorite line, do something different. Now, do we need to support one another? I respect the fact that they pool their money. They pool their money and they take their money and they send it home, and they don't waste it on frivolous things like making sure that they have the name brand sneakers and the name brand handbag and the, all that stuff. We went to a conference a few months ago, and I sat next to this woman, and when I tell you, she had on name brand glasses, she had on name brand jewelry, she had on name brand outfit, she had a name brand bag that she carried, her shoulder bag, her pocketbook, her briefcase, all of her bags were name brand. She had name brand shoes on. And I sat next to several true millionaires, and you wouldn't know them from anybody. They had on t-shirts and sneakers, like tennis shoes, white sneakers, no name brand, no nothing. And I was stunned. I was just like, there is something very wrong with this picture, because we spend and I'm not downing us for having, I got name brand bags too. That's not what I'm saying. But should our focus be on that? Like some people, they won't wear socks unless they have the name brand. They won't nothing, underwear. Everything has to be name brand. And to me, I don't want all those people I don't want all their names on my stuff. I want my name on my stuff. That's what I want. And I think when we get to the point where we stop supporting designer names for the sake of supporting them and saying that we can't go out the house unless we're laden in designer stuff, that doesn't make any sense to me. And don't get me wrong, like I said, I got the Nikes and I'm not endorsing any particular designer, but I have Coach bags and I have Michael Kors, all of that stuff. I'm not downing us for doing that. But can we make sure we got our dreams and things taken care of before we start really making it that's all we do? Like we can't be seen without that, and that to me is a problem. I know that has nothing to do with hair, but
well, it kind of it ties in, because when we talk about the hair, because we do things with the hair that doesn't represent truly who we are, we represent something else. That's the same thing with the name brands. That's not representing who you are. If you're living in the projects, you represent something that you're trying to be. But in the process of representing something that you're trying to be, you're not even really doing anything to put you in that position to be that person.
Exactly.
So you don't understand the concept of what, the understanding. The missing link is understanding. because we said sometimes we use the term "fake it till you make it," but they don't mean fake it like that till you make it, because you're not even
don't become fake.
Yeah, you're not even
don't become fake.
You're not even trying to concentrate. You're not even trying to make it nowhere except to the next door. But I want you to go past your mailbox. That's what I want you to. I mean, go past your mailbox. I want you to go past that box of mails that's on your complex, you know. And it just, okay, do better, do something different. And when you said about the hair, the industry, because one thing about, we do have very few and minimum black hair stores, but normally what we do is they're higher. One, we complain about that. And the reason why they have to be higher, because the black people cannot get that bulk like the Chinese can, and the Vietnamese, the Asian market, because they have it sold up and they have it so tight to where you can't penetrate it. A few years ago, Tom Joyner used to come on air, and they talked about that. They did a extensive thing about that on their morning show. And I think her name was JJ something. She's a black hair. She does black hair, sell black hair products, the weave and all that kind of stuff. But you can only get her online. And she talked about how hard it was to get into the industry, and how they have it sold up to where you don't get the help that the other community gets. And therefore they have to have a little higher prices because of that. But yet we complain about it. We complain about paying a higher price for somebody who treats us right and looks like us, but you go over there and pay a less price, somebody who's cussing you out and putting a gun at you because you're in their store thinking you stole something. That's what don't make sense. And right. the more you have these in your neighborhoods and about the other cultures, and the worse they treat you, the more you go in there and buy. That doesn't make sense. I'd rather go to Sally's, Walmart selling hair now. And Amazon, before I go into a hair store with somebody who's not going to respect me. And I know the only reason why you can flip that switch and that light come on because of my money. So we have to look at ourselves and decide, because we have power in our money. But until we realize that and make money work for you and stop working for the money, you're going to always be at the bottom of the totem pole. You're always going to be at, I don't start classifying people at A, B, and C levels. You're going to always be at the C level as a community, as a culture. And honestly, you can't blame nobody about that but you, because you keep on doing it. You see the firing squad ahead and you're going to go walk into it anyway? That don't make sense. Right. When you can change your route and go another way, it just doesn't make sense. And then still get what you want, just go another way. So that's it. That's one of like my pet peeves I have with us sometimes. It's like, you know what? Now it's hard to find a black-owned hair store. It really is. And you may have like one or two, but it's hard. But I know that sometimes you wouldn't even seek them out. Now, and also getting back to us in these businesses now, our black-owned businesses. We have got to do better. And just because you're black owned ain't gonna support you. You got a nasty attitude too now. We got to do better. If your store say you open up at 8 o'clock and you open that door at 10, guess what? You just lost the customer. You just lost the customer. Not because because you're not professional enough to open the door at 8 o'clock. That's on you. We're not doing all that patronizing just because of color your skin. Now you gotta step your game up. And I'm talking to the masses. That's right. Y'all gotta step your game up because the thing is, it just doesn't make sense. I'm gonna go on a rant for a minute. My neighbor hired a event planner for an event that happened to be of color. You're supposed to be at 12:30, show up at 3:30. It was a surprise birthday starting at 3 o'clock. Okay. The chef supposed to have been there at 1 o'clock. You get there at 4 o'clock. People have been there ever since 3. They're drinking and all that kind of stuff with nothing to eat. Then you show up and you don't even have all your stuff.
Close my mouth.
So she's like, it's okay. I said, no, it ain't okay. No, it's not either. And no, it's not, because I said, you know what? I want to talk to them. I want to talk to them because that doesn't make sense. But yet you want to be in business. Who gonna support that? I'm not.
I'm not either.
And you did that to yourself. Did nobody do that to you? Like I had read a post on somebody posted on Facebook. McDonald's can mess up your order XYZ times and you'll still go back, but let one small business mess up your order, you complain into the hills. Okay, in reference to that, that's a swinging door. That's a double-edged sword. Because yes, McDonald's do mess up your order. It's the same, and that's the same concept with the hair store. But you keep coming back. Not the same type of people keep coming back. Remember, it's classes of people now. A, B, and C. A, B, and C. Now we're gonna stop sitting there talking about we ain't no better. No, we're gonna stop that because we the only ones doing that because we are. It's a class of people. If you don't believe it, go look in the Bible. People are in classes, and it's for a reason. Because your mentality determines your class, where you think, where you at, what you do, how you were born. Some of us can be born in the low and break out of it, but the only way you're going to break out of that hole is if you have a mind to get out of the hole.
Madam C.J. Walker was born, like I said, she was the first child of her 6 siblings who were born free. Her first 4 siblings were enslaved. They were slaves themselves. Her parents were slaves, and their first 4 kids were born as slaves. She and then her younger brother were the first free children in their family. Mm-hmm. And you tell me, and then here's the next crazy thing. By the time she was 7 years old, both her mother and her father were deceased.
Oh, wow.
But she was able, she saw a vision. She had a vision, because we know that the Bible tells us that shall perish. So she had a vision and she became obsessed. We talked about those blinders before when you went to the Kentucky Derby.
The racehorse, yep.
Yes. So she was obsessed with making sure that her dream came true. And like I was saying a little while ago, it wasn't even about her. It was about the fact that she wanted to help others. She wanted to serve others. She wanted to make sure that she was part of the solution and not part of the problem. We had the opportunity. It was a really beautiful opportunity that I'm so glad about. We had the opportunity to meet Aaliyah Bundles, who is Madam C.J. Walker's great-great-granddaughter. She just happened to stop by and check on the museum on her way out of town. Now, she had family in Indianapolis she was visiting, and she stopped by the museum just to kind of, see how things were going and touch base with them and everything. And she was walking around like a normal, everyday consumer of the museum. And we got a chance to meet her. And when I tell you, down to earth, beautiful, and I don't mean physically beautiful, although she was physically beautiful. She was a beautiful, spirited person. And one of the things that she said was that made the difference between her great-great-grandmother, Madam C.J. Walker, was the fact that she was a spiritual woman who loved to give. She loved to serve. She wanted respect for everyone, particularly women, and also particularly for the Black race. So I had mad newfound respect for Madam C.J. Walker. I always respected the fact that she got on her grind. She did what she had to do. But to meet her legacy, to meet one of her family members and get a chance to talk about her and see how that lady lit up when she was talking about her great-great-grandmother, who I didn't ask her this, but I'm sure she never even met her. But she has followed her story, and she was able to follow her story and her legacy through homework, through research and all that. But what about us? And Les Brown speaks about this also. It's about leaving a lasting legacy. Les Brown, when we were in class, he said that he wanted his grandchildren's grandchildren to know his name and what he stood for. And I'm telling you, That's what we need to fight for. And if we're doing business and we're being sloppy with it, I'm bringing it back full circle, sorry. But when we doing business and we're sloppy and we're not doing it the way that it's supposed to be done, we're not being professional, we're not taking care of other people, we're not making sure that we're giving more than what we get. When we do that, we're destroying what could be our legacy. Now, it's a wonderful blessing to be in business. That's a huge blessing. It's not for everybody. But if you are in business, can you do the right thing? Can you make that business work? Can you do your part? Can you become obsessed with it? Can you make sure that you are doing every single thing that you can? So if you have a sign up on the door that says 8 o'clock, then you need to be in that building at 7:30. And then you open it up at 8 o'clock. Whatever it is, we need to make sure that when we say that we are doing something, that we actually do it to the best of our ability. Stop playing games with people's time. People, they don't waste my time, don't waste my money. That's two things I don't want you to play with. Don't play with my time and don't play with my money. And like you, I'm not going to support somebody who does that. I'm not going to support somebody who takes me for granted because we have the same skin tone. That's unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. Absolutely. So anyway, I know I just went off on this whole tangent, but when I think about that, it just makes me angry because we and then we want to sit back and talk about people. Oh, they don't want to support us. They don't want to support Black people. My brothers and sisters, they don't want to support me. No, you don't want to support yourself. Foolishness. That's what we don't want to support.
Yep. And then acting and doing that means that you don't even support your own self. So
exactly.
What you put in is what you get out.
And what we need to look at now from this point forward, what I would encourage everyone to look at from this point forward is legacy leaving behavior. Is your behavior going to create a long-lasting legacy that you can be proud of, that your the people who follow in your footsteps, that they can be proud of? They're not going to be proud of you if you're just working a job all day, every day. As Les Brown says about that, a job is a journey on the way to broke.
I say just over broke. You just over broke.
Yes. We got to do better. So, like the bus boycott. The bus boycott, they got the results that they were looking for at that particular moment in time because they stopped putting their dollars on the table. That's why they got the results that they were looking for at that time. Same thing here. What if we all just said for the next 6 months, we're going to go without getting our hair done using products that don't come from us? What if we did that? What would that look like? So I have a couple of comments that I see on here. I see Ms. Pele says, Talofa, my beautiful sisters. Hello there, Talofa. And Dr. Gray says, great point. He was speaking about the foolishness part. And he said, don't mess with my coins. And look, there's a smiley face there because he know we don't play that. We don't play messing with my coins.
We don't play
that. Nah, we don't play that for sure. And I see you say, don't waste my time and my money and legacy building behavior. All right, good stuff.
Yeah, that's what you put. You said legacy building behavior. And I say money making moves.
Yes, money making moves. I love it.
Money making moves.
And see, it shouldn't be all about money. I didn't hear you.
I said legacy building behavior is money making moves.
Yes.
And when you say, I know you say like it shouldn't always be about money, but it's not necessarily all about money. But the point is, it takes money.
That's what I'm getting ready to say to you. Because do you think that Madam C.J. Walker could have employed 20,000 people if she didn't have any money?
Absolutely.
She had. We have to make the money to make the moves that we want to make in order to impact the kingdom. In order to make a difference, you got to make money. And that was something that I recently really came to embrace and understand. I used to think, oh, I had that whole Christian philosophy that, this is not about making money. Well, guess what? It is about making money, because without money, you have very few resources that you can really do anything about. You can't really bless people, can't really truly be a true blessing unless you have the time, and you can't do the time if you don't have the money, because you got to otherwise be spending your time making the money. So, I mean, it's again, that yarn ball that we were talking about, it all goes together. But the bottom line is we have to be willing to give more and serve more. And then we have to be about taking care of me, 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 me. Because when we talk about me, 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 it's going to be very short lived. But when we start trying to figure out how we can help our community, help our family, one of the things I know Les Brown said, the best thing I can do for broke people is not be one of them.
Yep.
And that is the truth. It is so true. And the more I live and breathe, the more I understand how important that is. But you must have integrity, and you must be ethical, and you certainly must be legal. Because when you don't have those things tied in there, Dr. Gray said it. He said, I'm sorry, not Dr. Gray. Shalonia says, stop blocking your blessings. And you're absolutely right. When you're doing things that are not demonstrating integrity, they're not demonstrating your ethical behavior or your legal behavior, then that is blocking your blessings. And a closed fist can't receive.
Yep. And
you can't receive if your fists are closed. You have to have open hands. You have to have an open mind, an open heart in order to receive. Absolutely. So I love that, Miss McGee.
And also you can't hold on to it, because you have to look at money like this. Money is currency. And what is a current? A current moves, it flows. So if money is currency, it's a current, meaning it's supposed to move. That means it transfers hands. So you can't sit there and try to hold because you got this and I'm gonna hold on tight till I leave here. That's all you're gonna have, because you're not gonna allow anything else to come in. So we have to stop looking at money as in saying that this is all I have. We need to start looking at this. I'm receiving more. On the positive side of it, it's like if you hold it, that's just it. You cut it off, you stopped it right there. But if you open it, it can flow, right? If you dam water up, you dam the current up, you stop the flow. Absolutely. But when you let that dam down, it flows and it replenishes itself. So that's where you have to look at it. It's like to change some of that terminology, that great terminology that we know, and apply it to life. And I know we started on this hair thing. I just say, but she done been all over the place. I was trying to fix my light. I feel like I'm a little dark today, which is okay. I think the sun's going down or whatever outside, so now I'm getting all dark. But anyway, but my glass is cute though. I was trying to
absolutely. I love them.
I said, let me look like Oprah a little bit. Let me pull these down a little bit so I can like it. Anyway, so we need to, and money is a whole nother conversation we need to talk about too in our communities. We need to talk about, we definitely need to get on the money part. We are so powerful with,
The point that I was trying to make about the bus boycott is they stopped the dollar from flowing in that community. Mm-hmm. And that was powerful. We can do the same thing. If we stop constantly supporting those people who do not respect us, who do not replenish our community, then we create power. We create power when we start to take care of ourselves and do those things ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So
we sure can. And that's like we know it with a lot of stuff. If we had just said no, but we have too many people who are afraid to let go. So everything stops. Everything stops when you take the tail end of the deal, because you don't understand the power of your money, of your dollar, and what you do with it. And like even with like the NFL, had those players just all said no, it wouldn't have took all that time. And the owners couldn't have demanded you to get on, and you wouldn't have heard all this extra rhetoric in the background about this about this calling you, because basically all you did was sold your soul. You just became a a paying slave in a sense, because they still dangled a dollar over your head. You still did what they said. You danced till they beat. You just became just tambourine dancer. That's all. That's truth be told. I mean, it's
but I tell you what, girlfriend, I tell you what, the WNBA, Women's National Basketball Association, they did not play them type of games.
No, it's the I don't want to talk about the men. I ain't gonna say nothing about them, but hey, it is what it is.
Everybody did at least a little bit, which is better than what history has told us and showed us. At least they did something, but the WNBA said, hey, it ain't going down like that. And I love them for it.
Mm-hmm. The power of the woman.
And yes, absolutely. Giselle says, hello, beautiful ladies. Hello, Giselle. How are you?
The power of the woman.
So we have a lot to learn, but it's kind of like thank you so much for sharing, Giselle. Mm-hmm. We have to, that learning doing gap, mm-hmm. we know what works. Mm-hmm. We clearly know what works, mm-hmm. but are we willing to sacrifice and take the chance in order to make it work for mm-hmm. us? That's the question.
That's the thing. That sacrifice word, that's a scary word. That's the one that that's the one that sacrifice. You mean I got to stop eating? No, you don't. Hopefully you did right by your money. You should have something saved up. You know, you should have something. So you shouldn't be afraid that if your check stopped today that you can't turn your light on tomorrow. If you living like that, we got to change that. You know, we have to change that. So
Dr. Ray said those ladies represented on so many levels, and they did. Giselle said, oh, that's so right. Mm-hmm. So I want us to embrace the power that we have. Now, this society that we live in has not been set up for us. It's been set up not even by us. It's been set up against us and to work against us to create power in other people other than ourselves. But that's our fault at this point in time. Might not have been our fault in the beginning, but at this point in time, we know the power of the dollar. The most important color is green. It ain't black or white, it's green. Let's start using our money to make things work for us and not against us. And I'll tell you, Madam C.J. Walker, she knew it. She did it. She lived it. And that's important for us to start really thinking about and really starting to leverage what we do have. We don't have all the power. We certainly don't have all the privilege, but we do have something that we can leverage. We can leverage our money, our mind, and what we do with our time.
Yep, money,
Let's stop wasting so much time having to chill. I come home from work and chill. No, don't come home from work and chill. Come home from work and work on your business, work on your dream, work on what it is that you can do ultimately to walk away from your job and be able to do what you've been called to do. That whole thing about journey on the way to broke, or what did you call it?
Just over broke.
Just over broke. Yeah, come on, man. Now, some people need a job. We all need to feed our families. I get that. That's not what I'm saying. But is that the end all?
Do all be
all? Be all. Because I don't know about you, but I need a little bit more than that gold watch. That probably ain't even real gold anyway.
They don't do that no more. You talking about that? They retire? They don't do that no more. They stopped that. You know, these companies don't give you anything for retirement anymore. But bye.
Yeah, and you know, you give 30, 40 years of your hard work, your blood, sweat, and tears, and the thanks you get is see you later, bye.
Next.
Yeah.
We
wanted you to go anyway. We wanted somebody younger anyway. See you. You know, we got to do better. We really have to do better. Yashica B, I want you to close us out because we are at that moment. It's about 7:56 p.m. and we got off on a lot of different, and I'll say I'm guilty. Got off on a lot of different topics besides hair. But again, it's that ball of yarn. It's all intertwined. It all works together. And it's about service. It's about how can we do better? Do better for yourself, yes. But more importantly than doing better for yourself, do better for your community. Do better for those who you encounter, for those who are in your purview. Do better for them. Go ahead, close this out.
All right, here it is. We're at that hour at that time again for us to say thank you, like and share our platform. Thank you for tuning in to Dr. Angie and I tonight as we talked about so many different levels of hair. We started with hair, but at the end of the day, it's like she said, it's all intertwined together, but the source is money. It's finances. How can you do better? Hair is a multi-billion-dollar business that's not in our community. It's a multi-billion-dollar business that somebody can do, other than whom's doing it. Because right now with the e-commerce and all this kind of stuff, somebody can start something different. You could do something different and start something new. And as we were saying that the job is just over broke, we're not saying that you don't need to work, but if that's the only thing that you have as far as your income going, you might want to think of multiple sources of income, because we just saw what the pandemic did. We need to pivot. We need to not be dependent on one source. So if that source is gone, we can't eat. We can't turn that light switch on for that light to come on. If that's the case, you're living that way, then we got to do something different. Do something different. And doing something different is not necessarily going to be comfortable, but it will get you to a place. You can be uncomfortable until you get comfortable living the life that you desire and of your dreams, not a life that is defaulted to you by some source that wasn't you. And that's what I leave you with. There are so many different opportunities out there. If you're stuck, you're stuck because that's where you want to be. And if that's where you choose to be, that's good for you too. That's fine. But let that be you. And I just want to leave this. Say just again, do something different. Love on somebody different tomorrow. Make tomorrow different than it was today. And I think Dr. Angie preached enough tonight, because she had the mic and I was gonna drop it too.
Very sorry about getting off on my tangent, but I didn't say anything else.
Because conversations really do need to be had. Those are the conversations we need to be having. And I'm that pet peeve person again. I don't want to be talking about no. Anyway, but these conversations need to be had. Conversations that are productive. Conversations that make you think after the point. And our buzzer is going off in 3 minutes. We want a conversation that you're going to talk about tomorrow and the next day and the next day. You might have to say, dang, I didn't even think about the hair thing like that. Oh, I didn't even think about money. Money is currency. It's current flows. Money flows. So maybe I need to stop holding on to this. Maybe I need to start investing. Maybe I need to find another way to do this. Maybe I should put this in my community. Maybe those type of things. Those are the conversations that we need to have on a day-to-day basis.
To make sure that we are legacy building behavior, that we are exhibiting continuous legacy building behavior. It's not about you, it's about your legacy. And until we remember that, we're never going to find the power that we should have, the power that we have been given. We've got to stop squandering what we have and start leveraging what we have.
And legacy building behavior is money making moves.
Absolutely.
Plain and simple.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We appreciate you. And we want to ask a favor that we normally ask, and that is like, share, and subscribe. And come back next week. We look forward to talking to you. Next week is Father's Day, so we may not be doing this next week, right?
Yeah.
We kind of developed the tradition of taking holidays off. So happy Father's Day to all of the fathers who either are fathers, will become fathers, or serve as fathers.
That's right.
Thank you.
And we're not talking about you women either that's in that position. No, we're talking about the people who are actually men. Goodness.
That sounds like a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, I put that out there. I'm talking about the real men. It's their day. We get all them days. We get 364 days. Let them alone on that one day. That one day.
Yes. Lynn Cassidy says love you. Bye, everyone. We love you too. Bye-bye. Have a good one.